he just did not have the capacity to be on tonight. So he's going to come back in February with another one. And it's just me and Britt tonight. So welcome everyone to the Spiritual View. I'm Tara Diana, and this is a space where curiosity gets to stretch its legs, baby. And I'm going to tell you how it works. If you're new here, I bring together practitioners from different spiritual and metaphysical paths, and I drop a question into the room. They don't know the question in advance. So much fun. There's no debating. There's no convincing, no right or wrong answers, my boos, just perspectives, lived experiences, and wisdom shared in real time. Because this tonight isn't about proving a belief, it's about exploring one. So tonight's conversation is an invitation to everyone listening to reflect, maybe notice what lands for you, just listen, take what resonates, leave the rest behind, baby, because spirit's not offended, and nor are we. I promise. I'm really excited, though, to bring in our one practitioner tonight for this discussion. She has a unique lens, a unique relationship with spirit, and a unique way of understanding the unseen world. So I would like to do a shout out to Brittany Scott, the newest member of the Spirit Essence Collective. Welcome, Brittany.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me tonight, Tara. This is awesome.
Brittany, why don't you just tell everyone just a little bit about yourself so they know what your kind of background is in the spiritual world, how you work, what that looks like?
Yeah, of course. So I started off as like a psychic intuitive. I started off with card readings, did a lot of mentorship. I eventually went back to school. I've been studying psychology, but the way this kind of came about was I had an awakening in 2020. And since then, it's kind of taken me on a journey where I've now been working with people and I help marry the human and spirit to their experience on the planet. And I've been finding it's really helping people who might be struggling or are curious about their intuition and their higher self. It's helping them connect back to spirit so they get to explore it again with people like yourself.
Yay!
Yeah.
There's nothing I love more
Yeah.
than people finding their space.
Right.
Love it. So, all right, my friends,
Yeah.
I don't know who's watching this, but we are ready to go. Let's open the floor. This is the question.
Okay.
Are you ready, girlfriend?
Okay.
Okay.
Sure am. Let's do it.
The question that I want to place into the space tonight is this. You I love this one so much. I was like, "Oh my goodness." And I think Mike would have been so good with this. Okay. Do you believe that every lifetime, every person comes into this world with a distinct purpose? And do you believe it is up to each individual to consciously find and understand that purpose?
Oh my God, I love this. Especially because I'm working individually with people right now.
Do you want me to repeat it one more time?
Yes, one more time.
Okay. Do you believe that every lifetime, every person comes into this world with a distinct purpose? And do you believe it is up to each individual to consciously find and understand that purpose?
Is it weird for me or awkward for me to say I think I'm still kind of figuring that out?
No, no, not at all.
Yeah,
Like, purpose is purpose like one big mission, or is it something fluid that changes over time?
you know what I'm finding? I'm finding purpose is quite expansive and it doesn't always have to mean one main thing.
Agreed.
And it's kind of it can be reflective. So like I find a lot of people like are like I'll use me as an example. But like I like helping people, but it's also been my biggest purpose is my lesson on learning how to help myself.
Mm, truth. Amen.
Yeah. So this is actually what I believe it is like we could have a couple of them, a couple of purposes around how we grow our soul and we find it with people.
I agree with you 100%. I believe that it's fluid, that it
Yeah.
changes over time. Once you complete something, then you move into something else. That's called growth ultimately.
Yeah. And I do believe though that purpose does revolve around the soul and how we grow our soul, like what we learn from each thing that we're experiencing. And something I've even noticed with people, including myself, and that I've been working with is it's based around how we learn. That's what
Okay,
I've been figuring it out, how I've been learning it.
so can purpose be energetic rather than action based? Like, what about people who never feel like they found it? Do you think they never found their purpose?
What, we could get funny with it and say, was the purpose that you'd never find the purpose? Like, how could we take that, right? Like, we're all kind of experiencing everything in our own way. And we don't always get to have answers that we're seeking, right? Or
Right.
is it looking at it from a different perspective? So this one's loaded. It's big. I like it.
Well, energetic to me versus action based. So you can do a lot of work on yourself energetically. Think about meditation for a minute. When you sit in a meditation and you are purposeful in the meditation, you're working on something in the meditation. Because for me, when you talk about what's your purpose, I always feel like the purpose is a combination of energetic and action based. So to be in your purpose is energetic. To live your purpose is action based.
Ooh, I agree with both of that actually.
Yeah.
To
So,
living your because it's like embodiment. Yeah.
right, right. So, energetically, you are committing to this purpose for however long. Like, let's not put timelines on it or anything, baby. For however long, but then you are also to making that come to fruition by action. So when we talk about people who never feel like they found it, one of the biggest things, and I've talked about this before in my work, is when people come and sit in front of me, if they're not here for a straight up mediumship, me bringing a loved one in for them, Britt, they are saying things to me like, I am lost. I don't know what my purpose is. And I feel twofold about that. One, I cannot tell you what your purpose is. Spirit cannot tell you what your purpose is. We can give you the tools for you to find out what your purpose is.
Right.
Because if I told you what your purpose was, Britt, I did the work for you.
100%. And to be quite honest, I don't think there's anybody who I honestly met that was going to tell me what I just said to you that I do now with people. It
Right?
was oddly discovered, and I discovered it in solitude. Like I had to make a conscious choice and hang out with myself often until I got to this point to realize how it was all unfolding.
And that's your
So,
purpose for
yeah,
now. I think people, I got to say this. I sincerely believe, and I'm going to get to the soul portion of this in a second, but I sincerely believe people put way more um energy into the word purpose and they probably have to. What is my purpose? Oh my God, I don't know what my purpose is. And you were right. What if your purpose is just to be? What if your purpose is
yeah.
just to be? Or what if there are many people in this world, I guarantee you, Britt, who don't think about this question. What is my purpose?
Oh, for
They,
sure.
they just go about life doing the
Yeah.
do, right? Doing the do. And sometimes someone will say, well, was this what you thought you were meant to do? And they will answer from a subconscious level, unconsciously, oh yeah, this is my purpose, without even really putting any thought or anything into it. I truly believe purpose can shift all over the place. It can be one thing in your teens and another thing in adulthood and another thing when you're elder, and then all of a sudden you could go back and do, you know what, I don't think it's linear. I think it just is.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, I reflect more for myself, so I don't speak for a lot of people. But when I think about just the life that I've lived, there was all kinds of things going on that I don't look back and say I wasn't supposed to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So everything had a purpose.
which is true. I think that sometimes people are seeking a greater purpose. And usually that comes from a place of longing. They feel like they're missing something in their lives. I'm not doing something but I don't know what it is I'm supposed to be doing. So what is my purpose? And that's where I feel like, you know, I have a really, really hard time with certain spiritual, what I call fad words. And you guys can come at me. You know I can handle it. But soulmate, twin flame, manifestation. These are words that are overused, and what they actually meant has changed over time. So when people come and say, who is my soulmate? I'm like, your dog. It could be anyone. It's not the love of your life. Could be. Absolutely could be. But that's not necessarily what it means. So I think there's too much put on the idea that you have to know what your soul's purpose is. So this is where we're gonna get into the stuff you love. Are you ready?
I'm totally ready. Let's do it.
Of course you are, girlfriend. So conscious searching was what I was just talking about versus soul remembering. We're going to talk about free will versus soul contracts in a few minutes, but do we find purpose? Do we find purpose or remember it?
Ooh, do we find purpose or remember it?
So is purpose something we chase or something revealed through like experience? Oh, come on, baby. Give it to me.
Okay, I'm believing right now in this moment,
Yeah.
it's revealed through experience over chasing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely, girl. What I just talked
Because
about.
we grow into versions of who we are, and we also grow our capacity for things like we prep and get ready for it. Think about birth and how we become and we change and we learn all the things on planet Earth. I always say planet Earth, but
Planet
like
Earth.
a lot of what we're adapting to and overcoming and learning and changing and growing skills is prepping us for everything we get to experience and what we can hold, right?
So that comes back to what I was saying. The people who come and ask that question, what is my purpose? They are trying to find their purpose, but I truly believe it is, like you said, revealed through experience. It is not about chasing it like I need to know what my purpose is and you try 1,000 different things. I'm not saying that's wrong in any way, shape, or form. I just feel that, you know, so let's look at it like this. What role does stuff in your lives like suffering, challenges, disruptions play in if you are chasing that purpose and then all these other things such as suffering, challenges, and disruptions come into play? Is that not kind of important to your growth and your purpose? If you have to be like into a one purpose kind of headspace?
I actually agree 100% that it is important because we're on the planet with a bunch of different people, and even the negative feelings help us relate. And so if we're walking around and some of us don't really experience the harder emotions, and then we have people around us that do, we don't get it. So there's a lot of it's about connection. It's not just about like it. That's where you're gonna laugh, but I'm gonna say that's where I believe it's playing a purpose. It's part of our human connection.
Yes, yeah, I get that. The whole idea of a purpose to me is to get something done. I have a
It's
purpose.
it's
I'm motivated. I'm moving into this direction, whether it's energetically, whether it is lived action. It's a purpose. Having a purpose gives us something to do.
It also helps us feel good, and people chase a lot of happiness and joy and fulfillment.
And a lot of people will come to you about this question, like, what is my purpose, when they are suffering, when they feel they have challenges,
Yeah.
and when they feel as though life is being disrupted for them. That is when they start to kind of get into that very human headspace of, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing because nothing's working the way I want it to, or something's not working the way I want it to. So there must be something more, something better, something I have to find.
This is an interesting comment too, because this is where I talked about I marry the human and the soul experience together. So the connection to spirit, but it's when we get to know ourselves that we end up realizing we can actually create a lot of what we want to be doing. We have way more choices than it looks or it feels or that you know. When you expand and realize, okay, this is who I am right now. Oh, there's more about me. I didn't know that. I didn't know I could choose. I didn't know I could leave this. I didn't know there was another option. Wait, there's more options. I'm allowed to make those choices. And it opens up space to explore further. But it also just like, sometimes we're also feeling limits when we're searching for a purpose. We feel that there's always that stuck feeling. You're coming when you're dealing with hard feelings. You're searching, it's stuck. People feel stuck. And I made a comment about this the other day it's not that you're stuck. It's that you're working through something you don't understand right away. It's uncomfortable. You're afraid to look at it, to face it. But our capacity grows when we learn we don't have to be afraid of that. Right?
I agree.
And it takes us to the next step.
So I want to talk a little bit with you, Britt, about free will choice versus soul contracts. Now, I am a little bit of a individual, maybe a lot, about the soul contract stuff. I feel like you have to be very, very careful when you talk about things like soul contracts. I feel like it can be used almost manipulatively with your clientele or whatnot. People have to really truly understand what a soul contract is, and of course it's different for different people. I am going to say to you that if we have free will choice but we have a soul contract that we sign, I feel like that's a conundrum. I feel like that is, if we come in with a purpose, how much choice do we really have?
It sounds like a limit too.
Right?
Like if you're running on a soul contract, but you're talking about free will choice, it still sounds like a hooded limit. Like you can choose, but you signed a contract.
That's
and
right.
I'm not trying to put anything down, but it's
no shade.
I have a different view myself after working with people. And like I worked with a coach who said to me, get rid of the limits. She straight up was like, no, get rid of the limits. Just because it might be, you don't have to live by that. It's okay to step out of it. Spirit will understand. Like she was basically like, they're going to understand.
That's fine. And do you know what? That's true though. And it's funny that you brought up the whole limiting belief. I'm doing a development circle tomorrow night, and my whole topic is about, getting rid of the limiting beliefs in every part of your life, not just spiritual. And so again, if you have a soul contract that you've signed, if you have picked your mother, your father to have this experience with, I don't know if I personally buy into all of that. That's a me thing, guys. Settle down. I don't know if I personally buy into all that, but here's what I'm going to say. I don't love the idea that I was given free will choice, yet I have a contract over here. Conundrum, can't do it. And I believe that anyone can fulfill their purpose unintentionally. They don't have to know what the purpose is. And I truly feel, baby, that a lot of people that don't hyper focus on a purpose tend to do that.
You know what's interesting too? Like if I was to say what my perception, like my belief is right now about a soul contract is, even if I signed a soul contract, it was to learn, not to be stuck.
I love that. I can take that.
Like I'm not here to be stuck. And when we look at our reality, none of us really have that kind of power over each other. This is where we take our power back. Okay, I might be learning from you, but I don't have to stay, or I don't have to tolerate this. I've learned. That's where boundaries come in. So this all kind of circulates together. Is the contract is great, but my view is the learning, not I'm stuck here. It's
And
that I did learn.
yes, because what happens if someone was to resist or ignore their purpose because they didn't know it? They don't know what their
Or base,
purpose is.
what if they were ignoring their purpose because of their idea of what a soul contract is? That's also a stuck or a limit. And that's where I personally myself had to go through some serious, like I had to face some things where I thought I understood or I had a belief built that wasn't serving me anymore. And I had to learn, like, oh my God, I can change this. I'm allowed to grow and move forward, however that looks. I'm not devoted. I'm devoted to my soul, my path, myself. Everybody else is going to be okay. Like we're all going to be okay in the end. We're not stuck. And that was a big lesson for me when I was figuring all of that out. When I heard soulmates, soul contracts, this, I'm like, I don't know how, I got to figure out how this works for me because I want to be empowered, not afraid.
Yeah, fear is one of those things. You know, it's funny. I was laughing with a friend last night. We were talking about how easy it is for me to take something personally. I teach a lot of people, and not everyone stays in my realm, and that's okay. I don't need that to gut me every time. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to teach and let them go off and do whatever it is they want to do. Right? I had to remember
Yeah.
that because this brings me to like everyday purposes, right? So is raising kids a purpose? Some people would absolutely believe so. Is healing based on lineage? I don't think so. Is being kind your purpose? Like we could take anything and say that's my purpose. My purpose. I would like to say that my true purpose is to save every dog. I
You know
love
what? You know
that.
what's so it's so interesting though, because when you talk about it that way, it sounds empowering again. Like the fact that there's free will choice on deciding what a purpose might be in that time or how good it feels. Like I wouldn't take that from someone. Like if I heard that on the street, I'd be like, oh my God, save all the dogs. I'm not going to be doing it. Someone's got to. I love that. Like, I always think about that too. I always hear about different purposes or where people feel really embodied. I'm like,
Mhm.
I think that's great. Like, do you live your best life? This is why we're here. We're looking to enjoy ourselves and make change and find the goodness and be good to others and be good to ourselves. And we need it. We need love.
We do
And
need
so
love.
people emanate the energy of love when they're doing
Mhm,
what they believe is
mhm.
in purpose or could be, because I don't even think I can say what that is for other people, right?
We can't.
We're, right? We're discussing it. I think that's what's so powerful is that we get to, and that everybody gets to decide too. And it can be safe and feel exciting.
You know, one of the things that comes up with a lot of people is like, do I have to be spiritual to have a purpose? I love that. Or can it be deeply
No,
human? Because can someone live a purposeful life without ever naming it? You don't have to be spiritual. Like,
no.
and spiritual opens up a can of worms, like all over the place, right?
Yeah.
And it can be deeply human, and I think it can be spiritual and deeply human at the same time, right?
Yeah. I do that every day.
Yes.
I'm
For
spiritual and
sure.
deeply human often.
Oh my God. So I think we read too much into things as humans because I truly believe that someone can live a purposeful life without having to put a name on it, without having to say what their purpose is. Because purpose can change
Totally.
over time as well.
You know what, too? And I gotta say, like, I know this is a vulnerable moment, but I was someone probably about 4 years back where I was a bit fixated on it. It took some
Okay.
time for me to
There's nothing
shake
wrong with it.
space. Yeah, no, I just had to, I was learning. I was embodying like the things I was ashamed of and bringing that aspect of me back online. So I was rediscovering parts of me that I was afraid of. And so I got a little fixated on things that I was trying to get me to help identify things that didn't make sense yet. And I had to learn over time, just shake it off. And you learn through movement. Like you had mentioned, you learn through taking steps.
Yeah.
That activates a lot. And so, yeah, like, so anybody who's a little fixated, I did it myself once.
The whole idea of purpose is to learn and grow. That it's an overall.
Totally.
You know, they always talk about reincarnation. I'm just going to dabble into this for a second. They always talk about reincarnation. Why do we come back? And Spirit has always spoken to me very clearly that we come back because we have more to do. So that to me would be like, my purpose is to come back and do more. I don't have to know what the more is. I have to move with what I feel. I have to be able to blend body, mind, and spirit, right? And sometimes I feel like the idea of purpose can create like anxiety, self-judgment, like a reflection on ourselves in the negative as opposed to the positive. So what do you say to people who feel lost or behind?
You're doing great. Seriously.
Woo!
You're doing great. Like I've actually said it to a few people, like, you know, I have people coming in asking why they haven't got a relationship yet, or is love ever going to come in? And you know what? I don't blame anybody for craving that. It feels great when it's there. It's so much fun.
For sure.
But there are people, and there's people I got to talk to that are asking me like purpose or they're becoming this spiritual embodiment and they're so lost in the social media, pop culture, spirituality, and they're like, they feel behind in that. And so
I'm laughing. Britt, I'm making like faces at you. Oh, the pop spiritual. Here we are live streaming this baby to all the social media channels. But
totally.
I get what you're saying.
But it's a part of feeling lost. Like people get like help.
They're searching.
And so searching and that's part of purpose. But like, aside from you're doing amazing, I usually say, focus on yourself. It's so oversaid, but it's so true. And how we always say, stay in your own lane. That's probably one of the most powerful things you can do is actually honor your individuality.
Yes. One of the ways that I tell people when they're like, I'm lost, I always say, you know what? Being is enough. Okay? You don't always need to be doing. You don't. But being can just be enough. So you are who you are. You are. If you want change, it'll come. Just go with it. Just go with it. Stop trying to put that name to it.
And I've spoken to people too who have come to me asking about purpose because they are comparing, which is why I believe in also honoring your individuality is like get back to yourself in a way that isn't searching outside. Yeah, everybody's got it. I always let everyone know too. I'm like, remember, we all go through our seasons. Even the really good stuff it's all seasons, and we're still figuring it out, and we're doing the best we can with what we know, and then we got to figure it out again. And
because we never stop growing. That's the key. We never stop learning. We never stop developing. I mean, I might not go and take a whole bunch of spiritual classes anymore, but I've been doing the work a long time, and I like where I'm at. If something tickles my fancy, I will go and learn, and I will develop. Period.
Exactly. And part of taking that step back too is like the immense amount of trust you have in yourself. We can recognize that, right? It's not always about, I need more development. I have exceptional amount of trust in spirit and what I'm doing now. And I understand that aspect of who I am. I'm doing like, that's super embodied and good. And that is also allowed to happen. So that can be celebrated, right?
Absolutely.
And these are things we can also recognize in ourselves as well, is eventually you're allowed to trust yourself. Mm-hmm. We have a society that likes to pick on it, but I also say to people, remember, you're gonna have people question that because they might not be trusting themselves. They don't know what it looks like. So what it is too, when I suggest getting back into the self and trusting the individuality, is it's helping you stand on your own 2 feet in a world of everybody else that's also figuring it out. And you're allowed to get there. You're allowed to also stand on your own 2 feet without comparison.
Absolutely.
Someone's always ahead and someone's always behind you. Enjoy. This is what gets us back to presence as well, which can support, if you really need it, it can support the idea of purpose, right?
Yeah, yeah. Brittany, I want to take a moment to thank you for your openness, your honesty, and your willingness to share from your own lived and spiritual experience. This is so important, these
course.
conversations. So this is exactly what I wanted the spiritual view to be about. Not answers that, are carved in stone, but insights that invite us all to reflect. So for those watching or listening, remember, you don't have to agree with everything you hear. Sometimes the power is simply in hearing something different that you've never heard before. And if this conversation has stirred something in you, a question, a curiosity, quiet knowing, sit with it. Let it unfold in its own timing. Thank you for spending this time with us, for holding space with an open heart, and for being part of this collective exploration. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, stay divine, and trust that spirit meets you exactly where you're at. Brittany, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.